What is up, casters? We're going to take a look at Elestriad Week 1 in under 5 minutes. If you want more Elestrals content, like and subscribe. Starting with Week 1, Coder vs. Johnny. Coder starts with the Wind starter deck, and his key pulls are Viserys and Voltempest, both solid cards in the meta. He also pulls multiple third copies of various Wind cards, allowing him to build a fairly straightforward Wind toolbox deck for Week 1, which should be good given Pantera is fairly difficult to out early. Going into future weeks, he can either pull for a Founders Pack to grab a second Viserys, go for more Voltempest by trying to find the Griffuse in 6 packs, or stick with the Wind strategy that he has and go for counter runes and some other starter decks. Moving on to Johnny. Johnny starts with the Thunder starter deck, pulls a P-Box to complement the first P-Box in his starter deck, an extra Viserys, and an Earthquake, allowing him to shore up his deck into a little bit of a Thunder Nexus Light with some consistency tools in all the third copies he pulled from his pack. Those Pandora's boxes are going to be becoming very useful against Pantera and the other Wind decks who love searching out cards, and we'll see how he goes into the next few weeks. He could grab some more booster packs, trying to get some Altars to go for Thunder Nexus. Otherwise, his options are going back into Thunder for more consistent Thunder cards like Toxie and Galvenom, or going to other starter decks to grab some counter rune. By doing the smart play of not overextending so Johnny can't finish him off with a last minute burn off of Toxian, Coder takes it for Game 1. Starting up with Game 2, it's Powder vs. Shady. Powder opens Voltempest for his key pulls and he's playing Thunder. Going into his deck building, he cuts out the entire Imperial package and slots in that Voltempest that he pulls. He's definitely trying to force that Voltempest build going into the end of the Elestriad. Similar to Johnny, he can jump back into starter decks for counter runes, grab another Thunder to shore up a bunch of 3 copies of his Thunder cards, or risk his luck for packs. He definitely wants to find some Griff for that Voltempest. On to Shady, playing the Fire starter deck. It gives him great Gorgon's Gaze access, and his key pulls he gets a third Kinleo, Rise from the Ashes, and a Shield, all from his packs. He opts to build a little bit of a Fire Nexus package with a little bit of a sub-water package with Typhlance and some discard, making a bit of a control fire deck with the aggressive options Fire starts with. Moving into the next few weeks, he could potentially pick up Water and go for a little bit of a Fire-Water burn deck if he wants to go the Water route consistently. Or he can jump into packs to find some more beaters to go with the aggressive strategy since he still runs some control Elestrals. And as always, they can jump into the other starter decks for more counter runes, probably the least viable option for Fire since it already starts with Gorgon's Gaze. In a back and forth slugfest between these two, Shady picks it up with a giant Valkyries plus Hammer to close out the game. Moving on to Game 3, we have Droy vs. Magnetude. Droy starts with the Wind starter deck. His key pulls are Earthquake, Rise from the Ashes, and Sonicore, as well as lots of third copies of the cards that he needs. Moving into deck building, he Aramir's Glide Sails and adds a pretty significant aggressive Thunder package. He keeps his 2 Exaltars in, so he's definitely going for more so aggressive Wind Thunder focused deck. It's getting a little old at this point, but moving into what he can go for next week, he can potentially go for Voltempest cards in the Founders Pack. He can dig for more Wind Thunder stuff in his packs, or as well as everybody else, dig for those counter runes like Gorgon's Gaze and Point-Tipped Arrow in the starter decks for next week. Moving on to Magnetude in the Water starter deck. He picks up for his key pulls an Amphirex, lots of fire cards, some Nexus stuff, and a third Foamy. Moving into his deck building, he cuts many of his 2-drops and focuses a lot on floaters and Nexus Elestrals. He's definitely trying to play the defensive game with this water deck, using Nexus cards to control and burn out his opponent. We'll see how that goes into the match. Moving on to the next few weeks, he could pick up another water starter deck to shore up the Krakatuga burn strategy, pick up Fire for some aggressive buys in Gorgon's Gaze, or risk his luck in the pack as always. Founders and Artist Collection don't look that lucrative for him. Droy ends up flooding the board against Steve. Steve, playing the defensive water deck, isn't able to recover and takes a loss for Game 1. Moving on to Game 4 of Week 1, MBT vs. Ironboffin. We have MBT picking up a Griffuse, Falcane, Exalter, and Earthquake in his packs, as well as a few water cards. He plays pretty greedy deck with a Wind toolbox, a Thunder support package, a Water defense package for Taquas and Tsunamis, and a single Earthquake. Moving on to future weeks, he could go for Voltempest in the promo packs, plus a lot of Thunder cards to shore up the Thunder Wind deck. You could also go for the Thunder deck, starter deck, to grab some extra Nexus stuff to play Thunder Nexus, moving on into Voltempest in future weeks, or risk it for more Griff uses going into packs, picking up Voltempest at a later week. And lastly, we have Ironboffin playing Earth. He didn't get a ton of core pulls that he needs for the Earth deck, but he did pick up a Lotagon and a Golden Apple of Discord. That could lead him into a fruit strategy later down the line. He's running a pretty standard Earth deck. Again, he didn't pull too many cards that could shore up his strategy, but Earth does have lots of big stats. It's got Earthquakes, Poison-tipped arrows, which should help him a lot against the Pantera. Going into the future weeks, he doesn't have a ton of options. Going and trying to find packs to find out a better direction of his deck might be a strategy. If he picks up more Lodogons and Golden Apples, he can easily transition into that. He can also pick up the Fire Starter deck to shore up some more of the counter room, given he already got Poison-tipped arrow. Grabbing some Gorgon's Gazes should shore up that Earth deck pretty heavily going into week 2. Moving on to the game, MBT runs over Ironboffin with a swarm of small Elestrals using key removals like Royal and Earthquake to clear it out. That's it for week 1, casters. I'll see you guys in next week's recap, and again, like and subscribe for more Elestrals content. Have a good one.